Hi guys, it's A today, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make Olaf out of polymer clay. This is a very advanced design in polymer clay, and I actually created this myself, and I worked really hard on it. And it is quite fragile, but it's also, if you glaze it, then it doesn't become as fragile, so you might want to recommend glazing this. I have not glazed it yet. So the materials you need are some TLS, some wire or a toothpick, some scissors to cut the wire or toothpick, an eye pin, a jump ring, a blade, a dotting tool, and clay in the colors of white, orange, and black. And you may also want to use glaze like I mentioned before, but it's completely optional. So without further ado, let's get started. So first we are going to be making the basic shape of Olaf's head. So first you're going to condition some white clay until it is smooth and roll it out with your daughter once or twice to make sure there are no air bubbles or pockets. So to make the shape of the head, you're going to roll your clay into a ball, and then you're going to make it kind of into the shape of a snow cone on one side, and then you're going to do the same thing kind of towards the top, so that you have a shape like this. Next, you are going to take your dotting tool and kind of tap up on the smaller side to make the mouth, and kind of make it curve a little bit on one side, so you get the fine shape of the smile. Just like this. Next, we are going to be making Olaf's tooth. So for this, you are going to take a tiny piece of white clay, roll it into a ball, and form it into a kind of cube with not quite straight edges, kind of like a real tooth. Like this. Then you are going to stick it onto Olaf's little groove right there. And then if it is too big, you can always take off more clay, and if it is too rounded, you can always cut it, which is what I will do. So now that you have his tooth all ready to go, you're going to fill in with your daughter any grooves that you might have made when you were making and cutting the tooth. So far, Olaf's head should look something like this. To make Olaf's nose, you're going to need some thin orange clay, and you're going to roll it into a shape like this, and then hold one point and push down to flatten the other point, and then roll out the tip that you did not flatten. So far your nose should look like this, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to just curve it a little bit, because Olaf has kind of a rigid nose, and you are going to leave it like this. Next you are going to take your blade, and you're going to make the little nose grooves that are on the top of the carrot. And if you need to, you can sharpen the point. And then you are going to fit it on your nose, and if you have any little scraps like I do, once it's baked, you can use some nail polish remover and get those right off. But right now, you can always ignore it. Next, take your dotting tool and use the big side, and you're going to make grooves where you want his eyes to go, so that they are easier to put in and do not stick out as much. Next, you're going to condition 2 little circles of white clay and place them in the eye sockets you have just created so they stick out only a little bit. Like this. Next, condition 2 tiny little bits of black clay for the eyes and stick them on the center of the white eye on either side. So now we are finished with Olaf's face. To make the hair on his head, take some brown clay and roll it out into very thin strips. Next, take your blade and cut it into 3 small sections. And whatever you have left, just cut that in half. Next, find the longest section and take your other ones and put it starting from the bottom center outwards and work your way up to the top. kind of like branches. Then roll them together, just like this. Then place them on the back center wherever you want your hair to be, and press them lightly to get them to stick. Then spread them apart in any direction you like. Now we are going to be doing the last part of the face, the eyebrows. So you're going to roll out some brown clay into thin strips just like you did for the hair, and separate them into two parts. The parts should be small because of course they are going to need to fit over the eyes. Then you are going to place them over the eyes and make them a little bit crooked just because Olaf's eyebrows aren't perfect. So now we are done with Olaf's face. So to do the body, you are going to need 2 big chunks of clay, and so you can do that by separating one into 2 parts and making them circles. There should be a noticeable size difference between them. Next, you are going to make them into small little cylinders just like this, and more like ovals, and you're going to fit them on top of each other, just like I have done here. And because Olaf does have feet, you're going to condition 2 circles of clay big enough to turn into his feet. And you're going to flatten them out and stick them each underneath his body, just so that they are visible a little bit. Make sure he is able to stand, because other than that, he'll just keep toppling over like that. So now we are going to be attaching the head and the body. So what you're going to want to use is your wire, and you're going to pull it and measure about how far Olaf's head is to his body. So you're going to lay them out like you would want to put them on, maybe a little bit different. And then you're going to cut it about halfway, right where his nose is. So you're going to take your scissors and cut it off. Next, you are going to take your steel thread and you are going to push it through. This is the part that you can also use a toothpick for, but I find that the steel ones cook better in the oven. So make sure you can almost feel it right here. And now we are going to be threading the head through, which is the most fragile part, so you want to be careful. So you're going to just slide it right through, being very careful not to wreck it. And I have a little piece coming out at the end. And there you go. Now all we have left to do is the buttons and arms. So to make the buttons, you're going to cut tiny little pieces of black clay. Oops. So to do the buttons, you're going to put on little black blobs, like I have here, of black clay. And one should be in the center, one should be on the bottom piece, and one should be on the top piece. So now you're on the last piece, which is making the arms. The arms are very fragile, so you're going to want to roll out about this thick of clay right here, and about this size, and then you're going to roll out some more clay. To make the branches for the arm and hand, you're going to cut out little pieces of clay from the big long snake that you have, roll it out some more, and then stick it on, well, I have to trim that one a little bit, but you're going to stick it on your arm, and this is going to be Olaf's hand, and then you're going to do the same thing, but a little uneven on the other side, and then you're going to trim it where you would like his arm to be. So you are going to make one more of these. Once you have the 2 arms, you're going to place them downwards on Olaf's sides, and you're just going to place them on so they don't break apart, just like I am doing here. So once again, you're going to match it up on the other side, and you're going to place it downwards so that they don't break. It could be hard to get them right where you want them, but eventually you should get them there. So this is what I have as my finished product. So next you are going to do the finishing top, which is the eye pin and jump rings. So what you're going to do for this step is you're going to find the end of your jump ring, open it up just a bit with your fingers. This part could be the trickiest for some people. And you're going to put your eye pin through the open side and then close your jump ring. And then push it together to make sure no ends are open. Next, take your TLS, stick your eye pin in the top, and squeeze it so you get some TLS on your eye pin. Next, you're going to stick it right next to Olaf's hair on his head, all the way in. Make sure the jump ring is still on top, and if you push any of his hair down, that's okay because it looks kind of cool either way. So you can always fidget with it to get it where you want it, and make sure you have it all the way down, just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. This is what it looks like when you are finished. The one I made in this tutorial is on the right, and the first one that I made is on the left, and I actually think this one on the right came out better than the first time. And anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my next video. Bye!